Okay, so next up, I'm excited about this one. I think it's going to be quite lively. I'm going to introduce you to Nick Corston. The talk is called Stop Talking About a Revolution, which obviously is very much in the news at the moment, with Tracy Chapman finally being awarded a Grammy, I think she got. Nick has been called a man on a mission by both The Guardian and Wired, that says the icing on his cake was being nominated for a TED Fellowship by #1 TED talker Sir Ken Robinson, who changed many of our lives. You all seen Ken Robinson's TED Talk?
Yes.
We'll put it in the show notes and send it out afterwards. I'm not going to say much more about Nick because he's going to introduce himself, but he is an inspiration and a dynamo, and I'm really looking forward to this session. Nick.
And he is humbled as well. Thank you very much. Oh, damn it, I always forget this. Hang on. That's it. I think we got it. That's it. On the 10th of January in 1709, this man lit a fuse. He did something that would change the world forever, for good and for bad. He worked out a way of making cast iron, using a new technique, using coke, a new way of making trains, of making bridges, of making smartphones, and all the junk we're landfilling today. Ibrahim Darby ignited the creativity revolution. And that very same day, at that very same moment that he started burning fossils on an industrial scale, he ignited the climate crisis as well. So where better for me to go than Ironbridge, the birthplace of the Industrial Revolution, to launch a creativity revolution last year. Here's my starship. If you see an old camper van, you've got no creativity left in you. If you see a starship, as the kids do, then we're talking the same language. Because imagination can take us anywhere, as we all know Albert Einstein said. We're better to ignite the creativity revolution that our children, our communities, our country so desperately need. In fact, still so desperately need, because the government spent £120 million on a national festival of creativity and innovation, the Unbox Festival. You didn't hear about it? Doesn't surprise me, not many people did. It was a fairly well-kept secret. They spent £120 million, projection mappings on cathedrals, that's Paisley and Luton. It was fantastic, absolutely brilliant. Galwad was a great one. That was a week-long social media drama about this young lady going into the future and coming back and realising we can change the world, but we need to start now. So a social commentary about the environment. Dream Machine, 28 people at a time could sit there with their eyes closed and have lights flashed in their eyes. That was 11 million, I think, 8 million, that one. You hadn't heard of it. You might recognise it by a slightly different name. It was known by the haters as the Carnival of Brexit, the Brexit Festival, but not on my watch. Not on my watch, because if I spend my tax, pay my tax, and the government wants to invest £120 million in a national festival of creativity, I feel duty-bound to ensure it's well spent. This bloke, we've heard a lot about Sir Ken today, he said something really contentious. There's a bit too much hope, there's a bit too much of a love in this event today. I think we need some divisiveness, I think we need some hate. Let's get some really negativity up. This winds up educationalists like nothing else. Creativity is now as important as literacy, he said. To quite a lot of educationalists, not the ones I hang out with, they feel that brings literacy down to where they have creativity. I'd like to think most of the people in this room would say that it's actually bringing creativity up to where we all hold literacy, because literacy, reading, writing, expressing ourselves with stories is absolutely key. This chap here is the schools minister, Mr. Nick Gibb, MP. He was the schools minister for 13 years, 12, 13 years. We had a succession of education ministers. I don't care about them. They were the puppets. He was pulling the strings. I don't mean to sound party political, but I'll be unreservedly policy political. This man met Sir Ken Robinson. Do you know what he said to Sir Ken? A man whose TED Talk has had 350 million views, who's one of the most respected educationist creatives in the world, who's advised Singapore on their industrial and innovation strategies. Nick Gibbs said to him, "So you're the enemy." Sir Ken got up and walked out, I'm assured, and rightly so. It's appalling. one of Mr. Gibbs' protégés, one of his educational bazaars, his behaviour czar, because behaviour's been weaponised in our schools, said of Ken Robinson's book, he's the butcher given a ticker tape parade by the National Union of Pigs. That wasn't pub talk, that was in the Times Education Supplement. A lot of people don't know that. Tumbleweed often blows through these events. People who are in the creative industries, they think, God, I'd love to take Ken Robinson's talk. Oh yeah, I'll quote that in the PowerPoint. What about this? How did that go undefended? It was on there for 10 years. I think they've deleted it now. They're rather ashamed. Did you know that 12, 15 even, government departments are keeping lists on people who publicly speak out against government policy, so that government ministers will not be platformed against them? I finally got my act together and did a freedom of information request last week, and it all came back very well. It turned out I'd asked the wrong questions using the wrong language, and they've taken a bit longer to reply to the second application. Just last week, the Arts Council were in a row because it would appear that if you have Arts Council funding, and not just the organisation, but anybody remotely associated with that organisation makes a political statement, they could lose their funding. Goodness me, this is starting to sound like 1984, isn't it? I've got a hashtag for that. Hashtag 1984 in 24, because this is happening now. I could do a whole talk about that book, which is done by David Shrigley, on 6,000 copies of the Da Vinci Code, pulped up with books found in a Swansea Oxfam bookshop, and I put that on Gumtree for £125,000. You can laugh. It's a conceptual artwork. I'll name my price, and there's a reason for that price, and you can look it up, because I haven't got time to go into that now. So the Carnival of Brexit. I wrote a letter to The Guardian saying, please stop calling it the flipping Festival of Brexit. The Guardian wrote back and said, yeah, we'll put your letter in the paper. Did you know they rewrote my letter and put words in my mouth I didn't say? Unbelievable. I don't know if it's a conspiracy. I don't do conspiracies. I like this chap. He's a nice chap. That's Jeremy Wright, the MP for Kenilworth. I think he was at the time, still is. He was the culture minister, Conservative culture minister. He invited me up to Coventry to announce this Festival of Brexit. So I mean the Creativity Festival, the Festival 22. He held one of my postcards, which I had hastily printed.
What we're looking for is events that will help to bring people together and show the value of art.
I went away and launched the Art Connects 19 year. We had a launch event in Parliament. We had kids and families down from Leeds. The Guardian gave us a couple of pages. If somebody sent us a quid, we'd put their name in the paper. That's a bargain, isn't it? Niall Rogers, we had a live stream with him in a school in Liverpool. And at the end of the year, I said, Niall, I run this non-profit called Steam Co. We try to connect kids with their art, communities with their schools, promoting creativity. But the Co doesn't stand for company. And Mark would have got a bit of a telling off if he'd said I was from Steam Company, because we're Steam Co, Steam Collaboration CIC. I asked Niall what he thought collaboration meant.
For me, collaboration is everything. I believe that even when I'm composing, I basically write for ensembles. And I can't really perform it. I can write it. I say all the time, you know, Beethoven can write the Fifth Symphony, but he can't play it. You need a symphony orchestra to play it. Yes, I can play the motifs, I can compose the different motifs, but in order to make them sound the way they're supposed to sound, you need a group of people to perform those ideas. And that's how I write. I write for people, so I collaborate just when I'm doing it compositionally. So my whole life is a collaboration.
Collaboration is everything. So we had Collaborate 20 year. You might remember that was the year of Brexit. I learned how to live stream. We did a 3-day Glastonbury festival on a cardboard pyramid stage from my back bedroom. With Glam Matlock and the Sex Pistols, funny enough, if you want to stay with the punk vibes. There I am with all my kit. That was the biggest bodge up you've ever seen in your life. Feedback, the sound guys at the back are rolling around laughing when they look at what I used to live stream, looking at the kit they've got. I built a cardboard Coventry Cathedral, and I live streamed from that stage without leaving my house, because with Coventry's City of Culture year wasn't ready to go. I built cardboard stages, we had big Mars balls, and then I would present, and the kids would be sat at home on Zoom, and there I am in their playground on a cardboard Mars base camp. It's quite chuffed actually. I'd never done any live stream before. I came second in the Arts Council Digital Culture Awards for digital ambassadorship. Just she goes to show you've got a big mouth and some idea what you're talking about. Anything's possible. 2014, 2013, our Creativity 23. What could we do? I got rather distracted, I'll be honest. The McLaren F1 team said, hey, we'd like to put your logo on the front of our car and spend £250,000 making a film about your work. What do you want to do? I said, well, I'm trying to launch a creativity revolution. I've been at it for a while, went to Ironbridge, and we made a film.
And we had a day in a school with Lando Norris, their superstar driver, PowerPoint presentation on the back of a lorry, no expense spared, mate, when they start spending money on promoting their brand. Great time. And I must admit, I was rather disappointed with this. They said, look, Nick, we've put your logo on a McLaren supercar, covered it in sticky back plastic for the day. Brian Cox is going to come and have a look. How fantastic's that? And I didn't have the heart to say, I think it's a bit... But I was grateful because 2 million people saw my video. Not bad, is it? I haven't come here to preach to you. I've come here because we need to get this message out of this little echo chamber to the wider world. Back to the Unbox Festival, the Festival of Brexit. One of the 10 projects involved putting a North Sea rig on the beach in Weston-super-Mare. A project about recycling, reuse of an industrial object. It had a trees forest for the environment. It had a wave machine, it had a waterfall, it had waves and cloud machine and wind turbines and solar panels. It was fantastic. There are quite a lot of people who don't like me getting too enthusiastic about this, and I respect them because they actually wanted to do this with real junk, with real stuff and get the community involved, not some polished thing. They say 10 million, I've heard 15. It was up for 10 weeks and then scrapped. And I said to the chap who led this project, Martin Green, I saw him in a slate quarry in Blind and Festino. I said, Martin, why is it only up for 8 weeks? He said, oh, Nick, I'd never met him before. Its temporary nature is its art. Which is the biggest load of nonsense I think I've ever heard, and I've heard some arty nonsense. I met a very special person on this rig because they gave me 10 travel grants to take community trips from across the country, from North London, the Grenfell Estate, from Cornwall, from Bristol, from South Wales. And Benji's up the back film. Give us a wave, Benji. Because Benji just lost his mum. The council put them into some council housing. It was damp. The pores of the damp got into Benji's mum's chest and killed her in 2 weeks. I just lost my mother 2 weeks prior. I might get a bit emotional now because it was a very, very special connection meeting Benji. And Benji's my brother by a different mother that travels with me all over the country, and we're doing some fantastic stuff together. So we took somebody from Newport. This is Billy. He's a granddad from South Wales, and he said, I can't believe they're cutting this project up, because I told him it was a STEAM project, science, technology, engineering, art and maths. He said, I used to work on the steam trains. We used to go down to Barry Island from Cardiff, and we used to see all those trains that they were scrapping. It used to break my heart, it did. I said, Billy, you've given me an idea. Why don't we try and save? So I didn't mean to patronise the Welsh in the room, sorry, my bad accents. And we launched a petition to save Sea Monster. Now, yesterday I was in a primary school. I said, to save Sea Monster, save Sea Monster. And by the end of it, 300 kids in this primary school were all wanting to save Sea Monster. I said, don't worry, kids, we have. Because we take it to festivals, we build it from bits of cardboard, and we build it as a CGI model from computer code, from cardboard, and our creativity. There it is at a festival in Devon. And here it is, actually, here we go, look, there it is, outside the Metronome Centre. Thanks to Chrissy for letting me stick this video in at the last minute. Outside the old rally factory, flying here in my Starship, landing on our Sea Monster outside the Metronome building there. So that's what we're talking about. We have the technology, and there's my Starship. Actually slept outside last night in it. So 2024, as we come to the final furlongs and hurdles of this talk, what theme could we go for? Well, this is a very special year for me because 2014 I launched STEAMCO, a project I co-founded with the community, the parents, teachers in my son's primary school in Paddington. And we launched it on this stage here at the Royal Institution. Nobody let me speak at their event then, so I had to organise one called Kids Crafters, 30 speakers, and I did a bit at the end, so I had a bit of video of that. Google paid for it because the YouTube was quite a new thing then. And those are the feet of a man who'd inspired me to come up with the name, Isambard Kingdom Brunel. An incredible engineer at the age of 27, built a railway line and bridges and bits and pieces, and here he is at one of the school days that we ran in my son's school. I thought, what could our theme be? New Year's Eve, I had a night in, actually my wife went out, I stayed in. Jules Holland, Rod Stewart started talking about trains.
Now, for our model railways, will you be building a new city for 24?
No, all my cities are done. It's not my city. The audience don't know what we're talking about. But we're both model railway fanatics, and that's why we got together, Jules and I. And it's a hobby that we love and we're very, very proud of. You may laugh if you wish, but we love it.
Exactly, we do. Now,
Pete Waterman has got a 5-part, 2-series thing on Channel 4 about model railways. He's an ex-DJ, music producers I'm sure you know. And I think we've had enough white blokes in this, and sort of let's have a bit of gender diversity. There we go, Eddie Izzard, he's got a big train set as well. And I had a launch event down at the Steam Museum with Eisenbach Kingdom Brunel. The other week, serendipity is my rocket fuel. The other week, we heard that one of my favourite bands, an old friend of mine, Phil Hartnell from Orbital, is playing at 2 camp festivals that we're at this year, and they did a fantastic song, a remix of Belfast, which is about division then and now. And beautiful words by Mike Gary there. Let's rewrite the way this world must turn. And do you know, when Eisenbach Kingdom Brunel said he wanted to build a steamship to go to America, they said you've got as much chance of getting a man on the moon. So this is SteamPad 24 year. We're using our past to inspire all our futures. It's fantastic to be here in Nottingham, home of Raleigh, home of Paul Smith. I've got a box down there actually with it, which is I found in my wardrobe with a load of old Paul Smith stuff. And seeing those guys this morning talking about Unlimited and the clothes, I actually found this old Clockwork train. I've got a film of me when I was 1 with my dad and my first ever train set. My dad spent time playing with me. He gave me a story to share with you, and he gave me my art. My art, connecting, communicating. I went to Loughborough University to do engineering. There's a lot of talk about creativity. This is me and my mum. We're walking the talk. She passed 2 years ago, but we ran an event in Ironbridge, and on the 21st of April this year, we are going to have an event in the Ironbridge area on World Creativity Day. We need to raise £1 million to inspire 1 million kids to launch the creativity revolution that the Chief Executive of the Arts Council called for 6 years ago in Sunderland. Our creativity revolution. We want to get one of our little trucks on the ground and on the road in Shropshire, in Cornwall and Yorkshire. Shropshire, birthplace of the Industrial Revolution. Cornwall, where Richard Trevenick invented the railway, the train, steam loco. Yorkshire, where those brave women and children literally dug the coal out of the ground with their bare hands. We are not talking about a creative revolution, we are walking it. Tracy Chapman is in the house!
Talking about the revolution sounds.
Not a whisper, it's going to be a roar. Thank you very much, I'm Nick, I'm just a dad. Thank you.
That was like the disco of talks, with the acid of talks, throwing me on top. And I'm glad you're with us, Nick, because without a cutting edge, there is no follow through. And that was brilliant. I really enjoyed that. Thank you.